Well, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has called for a meeting with the Palike representatives and District in Charge Minister Ramlinga Reddy at 3 p.m. today. The meeting was called after the death of a woman in Mandur yesterday. Mayor Katti Satyanarayana and Deputy Mayor Indira too will be attending the meeting to discuss what next for the garbage-ridden village. Meanwhile, situation continues to remain tense in Mandur as cops and villagers had a heated argument. The police also prevented the villagers from installing pandals to stage protests. Residents of Mandur have deferred their decision to go on an indefinite fast. They will meet Chief Minister Siddaramaiah today and then take a call on their next course of action. Well, there will be a meeting held between the Chief Minister, Katti Satyanarayana, the Mayor, as well as the Deputy Mayor and Bangalore in charge in connection to the Mandur incident. Let's not forget that yesterday the situation had turned from bad to worse in Mandur after residents placed the body of one of the deceased villagers there and protested. They blamed the officials for her death as she had died due to respiratory disorders. Mandur has been complaining of contaminated soil, water and air because of the indiscriminate and incessant dumping of garbage from Bengaluru there. Priority at this point in time for the officials will be to look into how exactly they will deal with the issue immediately as to whether they will convince the Mandur villagers for the extra period of 8 months, and in the next 8 months what should be done to bring in a permanent solution to Bengaluru's garbage crisis. And well, the Congress staged a protest at BJP headquarters against power and water crisis in Delhi. They accused the BJP of the power crisis. They said that instead of solving Delhi's power and water crisis, BJP government is just blaming the past governments. This is the third day in a row that the Congress workers are staging a protest against the BJP. Well, these are the scenes being witnessed in the streets of New Delhi. Although the weather has calmed down, but the anger against the power crisis in Delhi seems to have not. And especially the Congress, which has seen a political opportunity here, has been going all gung-ho against the BJP, accusing the BJP of not fulfilling the promises that it made to the people of the national capital. Let's not forget that the power crisis had forced the governor to take steps and to take the action of asking malls to shut off power post 10 p.m. and also asking schools to shut off power between 3:30 and 6:30 p.m. as many parts of Delhi had not been receiving electricity for several hours every single day. With temperatures soaring, it had become almost unbearable. Well, Food Minister Ramvilas Paswan is scheduled to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. The two will discuss about food prices and sugarcane arrears, among other issues. The meeting is scheduled in the evening. The Food Minister will brief the Prime Minister about prevailing food price situation, concerns about sugarcane arrears and public distribution system reforms, among others. The price of onion is on the rise and a similar trend is expected to be seen in other food items as monsoon this year is expected to be below normal. Steps such as imposing minimum export price on onions, halting shipment of wheat from FCI godowns, among other measures, are expected to be discussed during the meeting. Well, the price of onions, sugarcane arrears, public distribution system reforms, all these will be on top of the agenda when Food and Civil Supplies Minister Ramvilas Paswan will be meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. There are many issues as far as price rise are concerned. One of the major issues that practically brought down the UPA government. Will the BJP tackle this? We have to wait and watch. Well, after uproar over the junket, Goa MLA said that they will personally fund their trip to Brazil. In fact, even unconfirmed reports suggested that the Goa MLAs might be seeking some sort of a sponsorship from big business houses. The confirmation came after the Goa Fisheries Minister announced that the MLAs will fund their own trip. Football fever is running high by the BJP government as Goa has embroiled itself in a controversy by sanctioning 89 lakh rupee junket for 6 MLAs to Brazil. MLA Benjamin Silva put the onus on Sports Minister Ramesh Tavadkar and Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar for the decision to include only legislators in the junket.
It is his whole idea that in Goa football should come up in a big way. The 17th World Cup in 2017, and it is his vision, or CM's vision, that at least 50% of players should be from Goa in the Indian football team.
He claims that the Chief Minister wants to promote football in the state, but interestingly, no football expert will accompany the delegation to Brazil. Sisodia mocked the BJP MLAs for going on a trip to Brazil.
मुझे लगता है कि जनता में ये सारे सवाल जाने चाहिए, जनता के बीच में ये सवाल उठने चाहिए कि वो अपने विधायकों को फीफा वर्ल्ड कप देखने के लिए सरकारी खर्च पे भेजना चाहेगी क्या, या उस पैसे से पहले अपने इलाके में कुछ काम कराना चाहेगी। जनता कुछ मांगती है तो कहते हैं पैसे नहीं है, फीफा दिखाने के लिए विधायकों के लिए पैसे हैं, तो ये तो ठीक नहीं है। इसी राजशाही के खिलाफ हमारी लड़ाई है।
Well, in fact, that was Manish Sisodia going on to diss the Goa MLAs for planning such a junket, especially when the coastal area is facing monsoons and could need all the funding it can get. But now it is being said that the MLAs will be funding their own trip to Brazil. The MLAs will be using their money or money sponsored to them by any business houses to go to Brazil for the semi-finals and finals. While on one hand the government, including the Chief Minister, claimed that this is a study tour, on the other hand it certainly is hard to believe as to what they will be able to study if there is no expert with them. And well, the CBI has registered cases against 6 current and former Rajya Sabha MPs in the leave and travel concession scam. This is the first case registered by the Central Bureau of Investigation in the scam. According to the agency, searches are being conducted at 10 locations, which include the houses, office premises of the MPs and also offices of travel agencies in Delhi and Odisha. Lakhs of rupees are said to have been fraudulently claimed from the government through fake leave concession claims availed by government officials to get concessional tickets. The incident came to light after the Vigilance Department of Air India was alerted about the arrest of a man in March at the Kolkata airport with 600 blank boarding passes of the airline in his possession. Well, the MPs in question are D. Bandopadhyay of the TMC, Brijesh Pathak of the BSP, Lalming Liana of the MPF, and former MPs JPN Singh of the BJP, Venu Bala of the BJD, and Mahmood Arshad Madani of the RLD. The CBI is also conducting searches at their premises. The agency has registered a case of cheating and forgery among other charges under Indian Penal Code and relevant provisions of the Prevention of Corruption Act. It is said that the MPs are alleged to have purchased return air tickets and connivance with tour operators. They allegedly used online service to get boarding passes using web check-in facility, and just before boarding time, these boarding passes and tickets were allegedly cancelled to pocket the refund money. Later, the e-tickets and boarding passes, which were earlier issued, were allegedly submitted to the Rajya Sabha Secretariat to claim the travel expenses by the MP. And well, in the biggest industrial accident in recent years, at least 6 employees of Bhilai steel plant were killed and over 30 injured after a gas leak. The victims included 2 deputy general managers. The incident occurred when repair work was being carried out in a section of the plant. Sources say that a blast furnace reported leakage, and when officials and firefighters reached the spot, there was a blast in a nearby pipeline. As per the statement issued by the plant authorities, gas leakage from the blast furnace, or GCP, occurred at around 6:30 p.m. due to a breakdown in a water pump affecting people working nearby the plant premises. Meanwhile, Steel Minister Narendra Singh Tomar expressed grief over the loss of lives in the accident and ordered a high-level probe into the issue. Well, Chief Minister Raman Singh too expressed grief over the incident and said that the best medical care will be provided to those affected in the unfortunate incident. According to BSP officials, critically injured employees have been admitted to Plant's hospital at Sector 9, where the condition of at least 11 is said to be serious. The police as well as Bhilai plant officials have rushed to the spot for carrying out rescue operations. Till the time of filing of the authorities were still investigating the gas leak and were still trying to find out details on what exactly caused it, but now the incident has gone on to pan out that it was due to an explosion in the GCP. Well, mobile phone users might face signal problems with their network today, but this time for an entirely different reason. Take a look as to what that is.
NASA has released a video where the sun is seen releasing 3 very intense solar X-class solar flares. Solar flare to hit the Earth today. Yes, it is believed that these massive solar flares, which have earlier hit the planet twice on Tuesday and Wednesday, will hit the Earth again. Flares to cause major communication problems. The impact of the earlier solar flare was so strong that it disrupted mobile satellite signals and GPS signals as well. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has now made a statement saying that the same problems might occur today as well. Impacts from this activity were short-lived and affected high-frequency communications for the day-lit side of Earth at the time of the flare. A coronal mass ejection associated with the activity has been observed moving at a flank from Earth, and a glancing blow to Earth from this event is expected on June 13th. When intense enough, they can disturb the atmosphere in the layer where GPS and communication signals travel. Though the flares will affect communication signals, it will not be harmful to us. The coronal mass ejection, or CME, are powerful magnetic shock waves that are emitted from the sun. According to NASA, the solar flares are harmless. But it is the CME that causes communication problems. If the CME strikes the planet, it will be for a fraction of a second. But this will leave mobile phone users having problems with the signals. So for once, you do not have to blame your service provider in case you find problems with your mobile network today. A News9 report.